I'm doing my PhD in open government data, and I'm concerned about the potential for government overreach in collecting data. There have been many examples where government has misused personal data, especially against vulnerable populations. So why should we trust the Australian government and public health researchers with data collected from our personal mobile phones?
Neb Power, how crucial are these apps to Australia getting moving again?
Well, from a personal point of view, I think that anything that we can do to help limit the spread of the virus, but also to inform how quickly we can stamp on it when we do see flare-ups of it, is vitally important. As we've talked about tonight, it is about protecting the most vulnerable in our community. And I'd say again, this is not just about old people. There are a lot of vulnerable people in our community, and there are a lot of people in close living quarters, in our Aboriginal communities, in remote areas, in nursing homes, and other high density housing that we need to protect. So anything we can do to provide an edge against the virus, we should be doing.
Can the Australian public trust the government, though, when it says, download this app, you've got nothing to worry about?
I think there are genuine privacy concerns that need to be taken into account, and people need to make their own decisions around that. But again, I can only listen to what the Health Minister has said today, in that the app is purely there to identify people that after someone has had the virus that have been in close contact with them, and that's an attempt to try and identify those people very quickly so that the virus can be eliminated as quickly as possible.
I think this does go to a deeper issue of trust in government, and you see differences around the world about this. And Nev's right, if everyone downloaded that app, it'd make a big difference in terms of being able to trace people if they came in contact with the virus, and that'd be a great thing, because that's one way we can make sure that we're not spreading it. But on the other hand, people don't trust the government, and in Australia that's a big problem now. Not having...
Would you put this on your phone?
Yeah, I've thought about this myself, and I'll tell you something funny. As a union leader, and probably most union leaders just assume the government's spying on everything we're doing. So our phones, our emails, everything. So
you really assume that the government spies on you?
Yeah, well, they do. They tap phones, they do all of those things. So for them to find out who I'm coming in contact on my Bluetooth, who cares? But putting aside me as an individual, it would be a very good thing if it could be set up in a way that people could trust it. Maybe give the privacy concerns to people that that people do trust, independent of the government.
Like who?
Maybe experts. I'd be happy to give it to Simon to look after, for example. I reckon he'd do a great job.
There's a great Islamic saying: "Trust in God, but tie the camel's leg." I think that governments, all around the country, are progressively earning more trust because of the way they've been responding. But I think we are right to be sceptical, and I believe that we should, for example, be ensuring that not only the more we hear about this app, the less alarming it seems, but put in place the legislation, which I know the government is thinking of, to give an absolutely fixed sunset clause. Make sure that it can only be used for the specific purpose for which it's been provided and not repurposed for any other things. And I think the more that the government offers that up as the way that they're going to manage that, the better it will be. And we've actually been seeing this, I think, too, that the government, this is great to see politicians changing course and adjusting in response to new facts and information, and not being suddenly saying, oh, I got you, it's flip-flop or something like that. This is the way government should operate. It should be rational, it should respond to new evidence, but it should take its responsibility to offer the solutions which it could reasonably anticipate. And I think if it does that, then this should be something which people will adopt.
Jodie McVernon, do you need these apps in order to ensure that the curve continues to go in the direction you want it to, or can you do it without the apps?
So the fundamental thing that is required to keep this epidemic under control is the public health contact tracing effort, and that will remain the remit of public health units and people. It's about people having conversations and identifying these contacts, and really what we'd hope the app can do is be an adjunct to that process. All of us come into contact with people who are familiar strangers, particularly as we liberalise society and people are moving more, it's likely that the number of contacts that individuals make will increase. So this is really to augment the existing public health activity that exists, to try to reduce the spread of infection, to identify close contacts and to encourage those people to go into quarantine. So really it's there as an addition, and we need to evaluate how effective it will will be. Part of that will be how many people take it up, and part of it will be how many contacts we end up finding in addition who become infected. That needs to be part of the process.
And from your point of view, do we only need the 40% of the population, or does it actually need to be much more than that?
Look, I think there's probably a minimum threshold, but above that, the more the better. And then, as I say, it's a process of working out, well, of the additional people we found, how many more infections did we actually manage to isolate?